Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 25 with the Charlotte Silverwolves expansion franchise. Just in case this is your first episode and you're like, who the fuck are the Charlotte Silverwolves? Now you know. Um, we got a lot of work to do. Yes, I think that is a fair statement, is that we have a lot of work to do. Um, we're gonna go ahead and spend, first things first. We're gonna do the player development lab. Do I have any prospects? I don't think I have any. Just kind of embarrassing. But here we fucking are. um, okay, let's look at our prospects. I have a couple that are really good, and I think we have to focus on those. So Mr. Juan Carrasco. I almost think you have to work on what offensive skill will be the easiest for you. Run it. Let's work on plate discipline. Your batting eye isn't the best, and working on that could pay dividends in the long run. Andy Peters. I'd like him to be a starter. I think he could be a starter. I think he needs to work on his control. I mean, this is almost always the case for young pitchers. Or we could work on his secondary pitches, actually. We'll work on control, though. Chris Thomason. I still think Thomason could do is pick up a new position. I'm pretty confident he can stay at shortstop. Or maybe we have him work on his contact or his power. Those are all pretty difficult. Let me work on plate discipline with him too. It's a good thing to have all of your players work on, right? Um, Jeff Moore is a really bad first baseman, but he has no chance of playing the outfield either. So this is just going to be a matter of I wouldn't mind working on gap power with Jeff Moore. If that no plate discipline, it's too easy. Like it is literally too easy to focus on plate discipline as an off-season program. Jesus Barreras needs to work on his secondary pitches, I think. And Jameer Jemerson needs to work on his defense. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay, that's taken care of. My prospects can all get some good work in and hopefully see some good shit. Um, now let's start filling out our coaching staff. Um, it is really important to have good young coaches because Buck Showalter ain't going to be around forever. And these will also help develop our teams. So we want a great pitching coach. One of the pitchingest coaches that ever pitching coached. There are a huge number of amazing options here. I think I like Rod Hawkins the best. Because I think Nick Bucci's best role would be as a manager. We'll take Darren Paxton, though. Again, there's a high probability we're going to get told to get fucked. Because these amazing coaches aren't going to want to coach in the minor leagues. But we're still going to try it. I'm going to take the slightly younger Brennan Gowans over Derek Bell and see if that makes a difference. That gets us a longer term prospect. So we'll do that. Now, this is where I get that one guy. Because I think he's such a good teacher. I think he has to be a manager. Um, um, let's go for Seiichi Murakami. Uh, who doesn't enjoy Kevin Denny Fortier? I sure do. All the other managers are still hired. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get. No, this is A ball. I want someone who's good with mechanics. Kevin Roberson. Did I just hire a fucking hitting coach to be my pitching coach? Oh my god. So clearly, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Um, Stephen Gann. How badly have I fucked the high A ball? So I was like, yes, this is how you throw a baseball. He's like, yeah, he has no idea what he's doing. I'm pretty sure we're already offering Nick Bucci. Yeah, we're already offering Nick Bucci a job. To be clear, I don't expect to get some or even most of these guys. I suspect quite strongly that a lot of them are going to tell me to go fuck myself. But if we don't ask, we'll never know. And again, in the lower levels, I always highly prize mechanical development, almost over development, because it's just so important. I offered no, I have not offered Derek Bill a contract. Let's offer him one there. Jonathan Albrecht and Robert Nash. Submit offer. I fully expect that some or even most of these will all tell me no, but we have to at least try to build a really competent coaching core so that we can eventually have some really good stuff. Really good stuff. But mechanics are so important because it's what turns an average prospect into a great one. And because we're not going to have a regular source of quality free agents or quality draft picks yet, I think it's important to make sure the ones we do have develop quickly. Okay, so anybody already demanding more money? Robert Nash is. I will give you 150 grand. It's not my money. Um, a couple people have signed already. Damn. I would pay up to 200 grand for a great hitting coach for rookie ball, but if he doesn't take this, I'm not going to get into a bidding war. I'll just wait a bit and get another coach a little later on. Here you go. That's an expensive rookie ball coach, but I think one that is worth it. I think he's worth every penny. I think that's all of my coaches signed, right? No, I don't have a pitching coach yet. Can I get Scott Cassidy? That would be an excellent choice. I guess I could be doing some trading. The problem is I have no. Oh, I have not been messing with salary arbitration. That I should be doing right now. That's kind of important because that's going to set the tone for the entire season. Um, Andrew Abbott. He has to be better than this, right? Right? God, the home runs though. And remember, we play in a bit of a bandbox. So a player that enjoys giving up home runs is not ever going to be a great fit. Like, I don't know what we come away with, though, is the question. Like, if we don't keep Abbott, what are we going to get in exchange? I think we keep Abbott for sure. Just because he's so cheap. Fine. David Peterson wants a huge race for someone that didn't even make the major leagues last year. I am not paying him $2.4 million. I can try to trade him, but I suspect I won't be very successful. But we can try it. No, then he's just getting non-tendered. Like I refuse to pay 2.4 million for a player who spent his entire season in the minors. Graham Ashcraft has actually had good seasons in the past, but that's a lot of money. That is so much money. Let me keep Uribe, and then we'll come back to some of these others once I set the other rules here. Uribe for 2 million is just an obvious choice. He's also my best asset, which means if he has a good season, I could turn him into some really special stuff. Bo Naylor, I still think has upside, and I'm willing to pay a little bit of money to find out if he reaches that upside. How about 1.6? No. There we go. I just feel like the Brendan Donovans of the world aren't that hard to come by. I don't know. George Fuller is another one who has to be kept. Um, if he gives me one more good year, I'll probably try to make him a longer term deal. But for now, he's required. Um, I can't overpay for slightly above replacement level, and Josh Young wasn't even that this year. I'm gonna go ahead and flip him and hope that somebody else is interested. If they're not, I will just non-tender him. I could be looking for regulars too, I suppose. Especially if it's for a quality player. But I doubt that there's that many people being offered. Yeah, I'm not gonna pay extra money for Jordan Hicks. I'll simply non-tender Josh Young and let somebody else pay him. Um, Stephen Kwan, I think we do end up keeping. Um, that I agree with. I think keeping him around makes some pretty good sense, at least for a year. Jake Myers is a really good center fielder, and he's not a very good hitter. Michael Garcia is who he is at this point, but what he is isn't bad. he's a very good defender. Shifting him to third base is a very real possibility, especially since we're not keeping Josh Young. So I think offering Mr. Garcia here a 1-year contract is reasonable. Done. Paying this much money for essentially a reserve infielder when I can probably get one for cheaper, it just seems subpar to me. I don't think I'm prepared to pay him almost $4 million non-tendered. I guess I could try to trade him first, but nobody's gonna want him. We can ask, but no one's gonna want him. I stand corrected. Um, Jesse Franklin the fifth, you're in. Okay, who have we not decided on yet? Jake Myers. Do I have even a mediocre center fielder relatively near the top of the majors? I don't. Brando Mejia might be someday, but he's not there yet. And I think he's still going to take him another year or so to develop where we need him to develop. And he's by far my most major league ready center fielder. All this is to say, I will be probably giving him a new contract. I don't think I can afford not to. He's expensive, but in the absence of something better and or cheaper, I think we have to take it. What I am not doing is overpaying for a bullpen. I am not spending $10 million on 3 relievers. That's ludicrous. So the question is, who is most worth keeping? Gabe Spire was a really good pitcher for us and is reasonably durable, but that also makes him an attractive trade target. If I flip Gabe Spire, what might be on target? No greens, which is unsurprising but still disappointing. Would somebody give me like a couple 3 prospects for him, I wonder? Let me simulate one day and then we'll do some more shopping. Can I get a prospect package for Spire? And yes, we can add in additional players for the right offer. Okay, one player is not a package. Christian Campbell is a first baseman who doesn't hit for power. Eduardo Lopez is an outfielder who doesn't hit for power. I don't see the benefit of either of those players, so we'll go back to single players. I'm going to remove regulars. I only want prospects. Unless I can get a really good regular, which is not currently being offered to me. Do I feel particularly good about any of my position rankings? I really don't. So really, just the best possible player. I saw some 40s type of. I'm not going to acquire a DH. That's silly. Yeah. Power and nothing else isn't a great foundation for a position player. Elio Prado isn't a center fielder. Hurston Waldrop is an okay pitcher other than the control, but everything else about him is actually reasonably good. I wonder if I could get Waldrop and Hermosillo. Maybe not Hermosillo. Yeah, let's start with Mikey Romero and see if you'd also throw in Hurston Waldrop. And we're going to submit that offer, and then we're going to run a day and see what response we get, if any. I did want to get rid of another reliever, potentially. And I'm perfectly content to give up Ashcraft. Done. Wonder if I could should add in one more prospect, potentially? Can I get greedy and ask for, like... Dave Rums has a lot of offensive potential, but he's not a center fielder. Could I get Kevin Alcantara? I'm not willing to give you any of my premium prospects. Like, that would be quite stupid. I do like Alcantara quite a bit. What if I dropped Waldrop? If they won't take this, then I'll just do it for Waldrop. Fans of them, George Valera and Abner Uribe. Who's the other? Luis Hill. Luis Gill is the other one we could potentially add into the deal and not lose anything. You want Zimmerman? I'm getting rid of anyway. Done. Complete trade. Because Alcantara and Romero are both reasonably good players. But I will put you in AAA to start the season. By default, we almost have to keep Luis Gill because we've traded all the other relievers away. Like, at present, how many pitchers do I have? I have 13. So I could actually trade Gill and then just acquire like one or two cheap pitchers, either through the Rule 5 or in free agency. I think that makes sense. What could I get for Luis Gill only? Is the question. Really nothing. What if I add in regulars or veterans? Is there an interesting player that I could add on that I could maybe flip later on? I'm not going to take on Sal unless it very clearly advantages me to do so. Daniel Cope is a really good catcher. I'm reasonably chopped with my current catchers, so I think I'd rather find a different position. But I like where your head's at. I have too many players like Aaron Polensky to get excited about that. Eh. A good overpriced first baseman doesn't really do it for me. David Fletcher when defense matters and nothing else. We could get the Eternal A, Anthony Ziegler. Like, there's no downside to having extra catchers in your farm system in case injuries happen. I'm gonna go with Daniel Cope just because we haven't had him before. Um, Romero, Cope both get added to the 38 man roster. Jesse Franklin is just not that impressive a player. Um, I got him because he's better than nothing, but I'm not convinced he's gonna be. He's not making camp with the team. All that to say, I don't think I'm gonna waste a Rule 5 spot on him unless I actually. Mm, I have a bunch of outfielders on my roster already. I don't see the point in keeping Jesse Franklin. Let me just try to turn him around and trade him again. Something a bit more appealing. Mm, mm. How much of his contract will you eat, Tampa? You will eat zero of his contract. That's stupid. You're stupid. Eh. Jose Cuas, low key, seems like a decent bet to make the roster. Kent Emanuel, huh? That's really good control. That could be a very good reliever, actually. Eh, meh, yeah, feh. Daron Blanco is a really good defensive outfielder. But I don't feel like paying him more money, is the thing. Yeah, I think we go for Kent Emanuel. And then Mr. Emanuel is going to instantly get rostered. Probably go to the Major League roster, at least for now, and then we can go from there. All right, let's zip through. Oh, I need to run a second practice for my international amateurs. That's right. And that is under front Ufus scooting. Let's run practice again. There we go. Oh, you would give me Jake McCarthy. I, eh, I don't dislike Jake McCarthy. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see what he brings to the squad at the moment. Yeah, I don't think that works for me. Is there any freely available talent? Search all leagues for potential 50 hitters. I'm trying to see if there's any international free agent or independent leaguers I could snag. No, I can't trade with you. Alas. Yeah, this is just a bunch of players that are in the majors. Any better for pitchers? I mean, it could be worse. It looks like a lot of teams have one or two pitchers. Oh, the Natural Hustlers. Aren't you a minor league team? An independent team? Oh, no, you're not. You're my partner in crime. You're my fellow expansion franchise. Damn it. Because we do have the independent leagues. Yeah, we have the Atlantic League, American Association. Who is the best fucking player? ATL player list. Oof. Brandon Drury is low key not a terrible player, but he's also a free agent, and I'm not going to pay him that much money. That's ridiculous. You are high on drugs, my friend. Very high on drugs. Do not include free agents, please. Because anyone else I can just buy off the team for 250 grand. Um. Okay, so we don't want no one in the Atlantic League is interesting. See, American Association at least has some intriguing prospects. I mean, Jinho Kim isn't that special. Min Chul Kim could be. Mm, Pioneer League. And the Frontier League. Eh, nobody that interesting. Okay, I'm glad we checked. But there's nobody that really excites me. Let's go to free agency, y'all. You would give me a reasonably large pile just for Alfonso. Let's look. Cooper Criswell is a thoroughly unremarkable pitcher. I can probably make use of him, but he's not enough. Ronald Hernandez is a genuinely good catching prospect. This is a surprisingly good deal. Like, I know that Eliezer Alfonso actually has a pretty good chance to be a starting caliber catcher, but this is an okay haul. I'm gonna take it. That's what we need to do. We need to be taking our assets and turning them into more assets, which you then turn into more assets. It's like a fucking Ponzi scheme. Plus, we just picked up Daniel Cope, who I think or even Brandon Valenzuela. I've got good choices for backup catchers, is what I'm trying to say. So that doesn't bother me in the least. I guess I could have gotten more in retrospect, but I'm not that concerned about it. The Dodgers want to give me. No, I'm not gonna add on front. I'm not gonna add on salary like that. I could just pronounce Ben Kudrna, and be in about the same level, so I'll reject that trade. Free agents. What do we want? What can we afford? Is I think maybe the better question. I've got quite a bit of money on my hands. If we can add in one or two free agents, I think we could really see some improvements, especially with someone I could turn around and flip. I don't know that we're going to be adding anybody that is clear filter. All right, let's sort by default and sort by overall, and let's start making some decisions here. We could go all Abreu all the time and add on Brian Abreu. He seems like a reasonably good bet to recapture some of his value, potentially. Maybe. There really aren't that many exciting free agents in this class. Luis Robert Jr. would be a nice fit, but I'm not prepared to pay that much money for a fragile player. That seems like a pretty poor choice. This is a really bad free agent class. Like, I don't see a single player here that I'm excited about except for maybe Kevin Gausman. But I don't want to give up a draft pick. I'm not giving up a draft pick for any of these players unless they're genuinely elite, like Sandy Alcantara. But even then, that strikes me as a poor investment. I need more draft picks, not fewer draft picks. And I definitely don't want to overpay people over 30 for not like giving them an opportunity. So let's use a filter. We do customize. And what we want is I guess under miscellaneous info, the compensation. It's competition. Mm, oh, come on now. There's a way to do it. I don't know where they put it. Maybe it's not in here anymore. Because it used to be around here with the different financial stuff. Option, salary. Shortlisted is not interested. Is on not interested. Oh, it's my not interested list. Okay. Man, that sucks. Oh well. Um, like any 50 or above would be a huge improvement to the team. Taylor Ward. Ward is a decent all-around outfielder. You could add Taylor Ward. Let's start with what's my shopping list? What would I most like to add to this team? I am comfortable giving Rowdy Telez another season to figure it out, to see if he can be our long term solution at first base. Um, okay, let's not miss the forest through the trees here. There are exactly two positions that I feel relatively strongly about: catcher and right field. Any other position we can make work. So let's sort by batting rating, because I want to add offense first. What was better last year? Our pitching was less bad. Still not great, but less bad. I think we need to upgrade the offense fairly badly. So let's take a look. Batting ratings. Let's sort by contact. Nathaniel Lowe. Wow. Eloy Jimenez probably wants all of the money. Eh, I mean, are there secret heights to Eloy Jimenez that just aren't being addressed? Maybe. But $19 million is an awfully high price to pay to figure that out. Yandy Diaz hasn't been a reliable hitter in a while. Mm, 10 million for Nathaniel Lowe seems excessive. I know I've got money to spend, but I don't necessarily want to light it on fire either. Edward Olivares. Yes, for 2 million, I will make that offer. Done. Um who's the best raw power hitter on the free agent market? I mean, we could try Joey Gallo again. It's bound to work. Oh, guess Brandon Lowe's. Oh, Brandon Lowe. He wants a lot of money, and I'm not. I don't mind paying him the money necessarily, but I don't want to pay for elite talent if they're not actually elite. Fuchiru. You're an okay little prospect for me. Because I don't have a third baseman right now. This is way too long a contract for someone that I'm not sure is going to be a star yet. What if we make this a 4-year deal with two team options? How does this grab you? He wants 6 years. I gotta get those team options. That's the only way I can take on this risk. Because let's face it, you're not likely to be this good at that point in your career. This is fine. It's not that expensive. He's a decent player. I say we do it. Our first medium tier free agent. Um, oh, if I could have Jaime Candelario for less money, that makes me feel silly. Do I pull this offer? Because Candelario is just objectively better. He's not a better third baseman. I can use a DH too. Let's go ahead and offer Candelario a contract. Can I get a 3-year deal off of you? Done. Can I not guarantee the starting lineup just in case? Okay, done. Um, What do we have in the infield? Um, Corey Polanco's still a decent second baseman. He's not terrible. Paul DeJong cost me literally $0 and can play three positions quite capably. I think he's the choice. Done. Um, yeah, I don't have a great second baseman. My third baseman is competent. That feels like enough on the offense side of the ball. Let's dive into the pitching side of the ball. Clear. Pitching ratings. And all players. Oh, you know what I want to do for pitching ratings? I want to add in the new shit. Here we go. And then we're going to save this view as a local view. Done. All right, we want to try to find pitchers that can keep the ball in the ballpark. That's an important thing for us to focus on. Stuff is good too. I'm going to start with stuff. But I really want to focus on the ability to keep the ball in the ballpark. Jose Alvarado is a really good pitcher, but he's also $16 million. That's too much money. Mm, I feel like paying through the nose. I think Brian Abreu actually makes a lot of sense. He's a bit pricey, but I think he's a nice addition to the club and strengthens our bullpen. So let's go. Let's go after that. A 3-year deal that's this low makes even more sense because it still makes him very, very flippable. I am all for this deal. What about starters specifically that have low home run rates? Victor Gonzalez is kind of expensive. But this motherfucker just put up a sub 4 ERA in Colorado. Um mm, what does my bargain shopping filter tell me? Alejandro Trujillo isn't terrible. Good control, keeps the ball low, doesn't throw super hard. None of his pitches are all that special, but he also cost me no money. Well, he cost me a potential minor league signing bonus, but there's nothing wrong with that. We can add in Matt Manning for sure. We can give him an opportunity. And let's look at relievers now. Because I think those are where we can really make improvements. Quality young relievers like a Lucas Sims that we can get for relatively small amounts of money are a beneficial thing for us to have. And I think this is fine. This is a pretty tight free agent market. We're making genuine improvements to the roster. Um, We've taken a medium-sized splash by going after Rue, and we can see how this all works out. Let's advance a little bit of time and see how these contracts come about. Because right now we have a roster of interchangeable meh players, and we need more than that. You would, you have already denied me, so I don't know why you bothered sending me an email. Like, we want to chase player to you, but by the way, you can't do that anymore. Jameer Jemerson has improved his ability to play third base. This is most welcome. Can we get him in on something else? Potentially. Let's work on the fundamentals. His third base did get better. It is known. Winter meetings. Oh, the Cubs got Luis Robert. That's interesting. Yeah, Ramon Urias isn't as good as either of my current third base options that I'm considering. So good for Luis Robert Jr. The crosstown move. How much money is he getting from the Cubs? Yeah, this is a comically bad deal for a player that's already fragile. I think you're making a mistake giving him this much money for this much time. I could be wrong. Because he's been a valuable player up to this point in his career. I just don't know that I would trust him to make good on that contract. But go off, fam. Um, Nat, oh, fucking Nashville. I need my protection. I have to get the 2 years of team options at the end to get out of this deal if it turns out to fall flat on its face. I'm not going to argue too hard with you. Um, Everyone else seems reasonably chuffed about coming to the Charlotte Silver Wolves. Reasonably chuffed. There is chuffage happening. Okay, so we got Abreu. We're picking second overall instead of first. I'm okay on that. Abreu instantly hits the Major League roster. We need to start making some room on the 30-man roster, but or 48 man on the 40-man roster. But for right now, I'm not too worried about it. I can always trade some people around if I have to. Are you shitting me, Nashville? Don't fucking fight me for this. I'm giving you one more offer. If you turn me down, then I'll just go with Jaime Candelario. You'd give me Josiah Gray and Davison De Los Santos for Rowdy Tellez. I think Tellez could be at least as good as De Los Santos, though. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking bid you up to a ridiculous level. If you choose not to sign with me, that's on you. Let's cast our ballot. Carlos Beltran definitely deserves it. Adrian Beltre even more deserves it. I want to make sure I get the obvious ones before I start digging for other players. A Rod definitely deserves it. Yeah, Yadi Molina deserves it. I'm not gonna argue with that either. Same with Joe Mauer and Buster Posey. Clayton Kershaw, 100% is a Hall of Famer. I think Paul Goldschmidt is a Hall of Famer. I think that's a reasonable assertion. I gotta show some love to Bartolo Colon and Robinson Cano. Like, let me be clear. If Robinson Cano hadn't been busted for both domestic abuse and steroid allegations, he's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. Um, and again, I'm leaving that out of a video game essentially, so I'm not gonna fight about that. I will vote for Andrew McCutcheon. I think he deserves consideration. David Price, ditto. CC Sabathia, 100%. And Adam Wainwright. Honestly, we could see like 6 Hall of Famers, or we could see only one in Kershaw. I think Kershaw's pretty much got it on lock. Um, but I think there's plenty of room for additional ones as well. Interesting. A lot of players are just thinking really hard, apparently. I have room on my roster for a Rule 5 or 2. Are there any people on my Rule 5 roster that I want to keep? I don't want to lose Ronald Hernandez. For sure. Everyone else I don't care that much about. Like, if we lose Chris Bubik, I'm sure I'll survive somehow. I need 50s. That's my goal. There is presently 150. I will happily take Angel Perdomo and try to rehabilitate his career. Draft player. Auto pick. Any high potential types? Like really high potential types? Not really. That's probably good enough for me, actually. Robert Kalaz is interesting. A center fielder with this kind of power is so rare that I think it's worth spending a roster spot. But I think that's it. I think we go and end the draft at this point. Damn, Nashville just sitting here looting people from other rosters. That's a shame. Ian Anderson would have been a lovely addition to our roster, but no such luck. Okay, people have signed contracts. Jacob Wilson is not that interesting. Roberto Campos is somewhat interesting, but I need Jake Myers right now. So, okay. Um, I gotta make room for all these people now. One, two, three. Let's start with that. Let's waive these three gentlemen. And then we're gonna add on Manning, Sims, and Candelario. And then what do we do with Olivares? How do we get him on the roster? I think we trade Will Brennan only for prospects. I'm literally just trying to clear up roster spots to make this team a little bit better. You know what? Fine. Will Brennan, you're being waived. If somebody else takes you, that's a shame, but we'll get over it. There we go. Done. Okay. That is another player I'm going to have to make room for on the 40 man. Who is the worst player that has a spot? That doesn't have much of an upside. I think Geraldo Quintero. Can I trade him for anything? Maybe. I could trade him for some things. Nothing terribly exciting, but I'm just looking to make space on the roster. Ambioris Tavares, you know what? I can do that. I am not giving you better players. I'll just fucking waive the guy. Like, don't even get stupid with me. Um, Everybody besides Quintero can all go to AAA. How many pending free agents do I have left? They've all signed. And we still have a lot of like we've literally only moved like 5 places in the overall payroll. I could spend more money. I just don't see the point. I could try to take like a deep dive on a player that's maybe just been sitting and hasn't gotten a contract yet, like a Jose Alvarado. What is he looking for these days? Absolutely not. Um, I like the cut of his jib potentially. Are you wanting a major league contract or are you wanting a minor league one? I will give you a minor league contract happily. That's an easy choice. Um, who are the best player still available? I'm not giving you a draft pick. That's my issue. After the draft, we'll talk. If no one has signed you after the draft, I might be willing to give him a shot, but I'm not going to spend money just for the sake of spending money. Let's go into scouting, task list, international. Oh, it did this bullshit again where it just clears the entire list. That's exactly what I wanted. Um, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Run practice. Eh, eh. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's a good deal. In my opinion, I think that's rather silly. Yeah, none of you guys are gonna get claimed on waivers, I don't think. I'll take you all off of waivers. Oh, okay. So once it clears waivers, he's no longer on waivers. That makes sense. That's how that works. That's how words work. I'm sorry the fans are bummed about losing Huascar Noah for 1.3 million, but I'm sure they'll get over it. I'm sure somehow they will weather the pain. Nice. Always nice to see a coachable kid. Let's quickly run our final international practice. And then we'll have maximum accuracy on all of them so you can make an informed decision about who to sign. I wonder if Kevin Gausman is still not signed with anybody. I wouldn't be surprised if people are skeptical about coughing up a draft pick, but it's going to be a good draft pick, so I don't want to give it up yet. Not until we can establish a nice, strong minor league system. How much money do we have? We have 5.23 million. So the question is always, do we go after one really good player or do we try to spread out the love? It's hard to argue with Juan Tovar. He's a workhorse, he's smart, he's got great pitch selections. He looks like literally a perfect pitcher. Yeah, I don't think I overthink this. I think Mr. Tovar, I'm gonna give you every last cent I've got. No, I can't do that. I cannot give you more money than I legally am allowed to spend, but I can give you all the money I can spend. Um, there we go. Damn it. Then who do we go after if I can't have him? Because the problem is, I can't get a max. I can't pay as much as Pittsburgh can. So if all you care about is cash, you're not going to sign with me. I should have acquired some bonus pool money in retrospect. Either way. Um, Sergio Romero is a really good hitter in every aspect of the word. Or Sergio Zapata is the guy I was thinking of. I apparently tried to combine them. Um, I have a feeling I'm gonna get screwed out of him too. I just don't have as much money as other teams do. Did you end up getting the max contract? I bet you did. Yeah, you did. We got Zapata, and Kershaw, Molina, Beltre, and Cano all made it. That's See, I don't think this happens in real life. while I'm not convinced Chase Utley is definitely a Hall of Famer, I don't think he ever drops off the ballot. It's certainly not off the first three. Um, but that's apparently how the voters feel. It is what it is. I'd call this a reasonably successful offseason. I think we've definitely added veteran leadership and players that are going to fill out the roster nicely. I don't think we're losing 100 games again. I feel fairly confident about that. Are we going to make the playoffs? I doubt it. I don't think we're good enough yet, but I definitely think we get closer to 500 than we've ever been before. That I can almost guarantee you. Matt Manning losing velocity after we sign him is not encouraging. Neither is George Valera randomly getting worse. That is a concern. It could just be rust, though. Like, we certainly can't sit here and say it's definitely one thing or definitely the other thing. If George Valera collapses, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So much trouble. Because I quite frankly don't have another player of his caliber. Um, Churro, Brennan, De Jong, Mako, Mendez, Trujillo. Yeah. You're also not showing me my scouting. You're showing me the stupid scouting. There you go. All right. Let's zippity doo dah down the way and see how spring training goes. Wow, most of you fucked up. Mm. He improved his slider. That's not nothing. It's reasonably good. Um, let's scoot along to March. Okay, player development. A lot of players not really changing much. A bit disappointing, but okay. I wonder where our minor league system ranks now. Like, we've got some reasonably good prospects, but they're also very far away from the major leagues. Which I think is probably one of our biggest weaknesses. And it's why I don't see us making the playoffs, barring either a lot of luck or some crazy talent change randomness stuff. I don't even remember who Derek Hill is. I genuinely do not remember this person. Let's get down to 26. 21 pitchers is excessive. Let's get that down to 13 pitchers. Who are the worst pitchers on the roster? You go to the minors. 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 go to the minors. You go to the minors. No, you don't. Oh my god. I genuinely could not care less. I will happily trade you Mr. Mako if I can't find a better person to demote. I'm gonna put you on the IL just to free up a roster spot. Then I could potentially keep Mako and at least give him a chance. But I don't think he's that good. Yeah, I think maybe we just try to trade him potentially. If we can't get somebody for him, we'll just release him. There is Homer Bush Jr. Urian Martinez is not terribly thrilling. Neither of these guys are terribly thrilling, though. I mean, that's the problem with a mid-tier prospect, is that's all you're going to get. But that's fine. I can make that work. What am I at now? I'm at 14 pictures still. I have 200 pictures that are roughly, that are very, very similar. Which I think is part of the issue. Trujillo to the minors. That gets us to 13. Okay. Gotta go to a lot of position plays. I have 4 catchers. That is excessive. Um. Ronald Hernandez hasn't even played above A ball yet. I think keeping him on the roster is a bit silly. Valenzuela's got a lot of offensive potential, and so I'm willing to give him the second catching job. So Daniel Cope is back in AAA. First base, Melendez is nothing. I think Sabato goes to the minors too. Infielders. I think Romero goes to the minors. And I think Quintero goes to the minors also. Really? We're playing this fucking card again? He doesn't have a major league contract. I non-tendered him. But I guess I did not tender him after the league year, so I guess that's fair. Do I just maybe have to pass him through waivers again? No, I don't think that's the issue. We try to trade Quintero. People were kicking down my doors about him earlier, so surely now they're gonna want him. I think Blake Walston low key seems like the best choice. Getting a mid tier starting pitcher. Hell, on my team, he's practically a fucking ace because of how bad our pitching is. Let's see, Ty Floyd. Control isn't the best. Nice fastball, starting changeball, curveball. Maybe. Where's that other guy? Not that exciting. Kind of exciting, but not that exciting. Victor Juarez. Decent control movement. Bad home runs allowed, but he's also an off-speed pitcher. That might give him a bit of an advantage. I'd love to get like 2 players if I could. Blake Walston is just thoroughly unremarkable. Actually, I think I'm most tempted by Frederick Benscombe. He's a really good hitter that just happens to not be a first baseman, but he's very much a second baseman. Let's go for Benscombe, and let's also ask for Panongo. Can I get you? Can I get Eric Lee? I cannot get Eric Lee. Like, I'm not gonna waste my time even asking that question. Where are you, Mr. Panongo? There you are. You need time. Time I will give you. Who else definitely goes to the minors? I think Paul DeJong makes the roster. So we're gonna have to make space on the 40 man for him. Brandon's gonna give him the same bullshit. Yeah, so like guy for Major League contract. Grumble, grumble, grumble. I have way too many outfielders. Let's get these numbers worn down a bit. Derek Hill to the minors. Alcantara to the minors. Um, Dane Myers to the minors. So right now, who's our starting center fielder? It's still Jake Myers, I think. Although Anthony Gutierrez is certainly not a bad center fielder, so if he can play at a reasonably high level, I'm happy to give him another chance. Mesa Jr. to the minors. Um, Will Brennan gets traded. Nobody wants Will Brennan. Well, then Will Brennan can just be released. I don't really want to cut him, but I also can't get anything for him. I mean, let's do this. Let's see if there's anybody who's got like a crazy high salary that might actually make the team better. I'm not spending that much money for middle reliever. That's stupid. That's comically stupid. I mean, I don't need yet another second baseman. Is my problem. I am awash in second baseman opportunities. Hector Rodriguez isn't bad, actually. We can go for Hector Rodriguez. Done. I'll then have to find a place for Hector Rodriguez, so one thing at a time. Um, I'm not going to carry Kalaz on the roster just with the hopes that someday he might be something special. He's not starting now, is he? Who is currently playing center field? Anthony Gutierrez is. I don't like him batting second, but this convinces me I'm just going to let Kalaz go back to his roster. I know how to make room for Hector Rodriguez. Although I could just add him to the 40 man and then send him to play. Um, I have one too many infielders. Otto Lopez is literally the exact same player as Michael Garcia, with the difference that Michael Garcia can play all the infield positions and you can just play second base with any level of competency. I think we go ahead and trade Otto Lopez. I think that's a reasonable take. Yeah, no one's gonna want Otto Lopez. I'm just gonna go ahead and waive him. There we go. We're gonna sim a day and see if Quintero gets taken by anyone. I'll just remove Panongo. And now I actually have an open spot on the roster. I could potentially add one more outfielder. Oh, Hector Rodriguez. He was who I was literally opening up the roster spot for. Was to get him on the roster. He can hang out in AAA. That's fine. 13 pitchers. I only have 12 position players. Actually wanted to keep Otto Lopez. Let's go the 2 days. Finish today. Finish today. So if I'm just doing this to torture the guy, I'm just like, no, fuck you, Otto Lopez. You weren't actually going anywhere. Because Otto Lopez can also play in the outfield. And I think that gives him a certain value. Although we could. What if we check the waiver wire? What if we did that? Are there good, interesting players on the waiver wire? It's mostly pitchers. I'm not taking Eric Fetty's $10 million. That's silly. I could claim Eli Morgan, but I don't need another pitcher. What about hitters? Gilberto Celestino. Oh, I traded you for a decent package of product. I can literally just grab him back off of waivers. Absolutely, I will. Um, Zapata is my only top 10 prospect, but we are fourth in terms of raw prospect potential, which is really good. We've been really active in the international free agent market, but we've also made some shrewd some shrewd drafting decisions, which is good to see. Apparently, we love some Chris Swisher. Should do Chris Swisher. Oh, second overall pick. Yeah, he's a really good player. Um, so what are we looking at? Is our team any better than it was last year? We've added some genuinely talented players to this roster. Um, although the roster is quite similar, we have some real advantages here. Uchiru is a really talented hitter. And I think adding a bat of his potency is only going to help us. I think Jaime Candelario was a really nice get for a very cheap salary. I think he's a lovely addition to our team. Paul DeJong is an outstanding shortstop, and I think he's got enough pop that in our ballpark he'll be successful. Um, I don't like Anthony Gutierrez batting second. I think he's a little too unproven for that, but he is a very good center fielder, and I think he's got real potential to be a quality player. Michael Garcia, it's going to be up to him to be a good enough hitter to justify his spot in the roster, but for right now, I'm perfectly fine with him. So really, we have three new starters. We have Rue, we have Candelario, we have Dijon. Plus, Gutierrez playing over Jake Myers could be interesting. Um, our rotation is basically last year plus Matt Manning. Plus, I think Joey Estes, who was a reliever last year. Yeah. Our bullpen is low key one of the best in the major leagues. Abner Uribe is amazing. Brian Abreu was a nice little addition to the roster. Andrew Abbott, I think, was really going to shine in a relief role where he struggled a bit as a starter. And we've got a very deep bullpen without any real huge weaknesses. It could be better for sure, but I'm reasonably pleased with our bullpen, especially the better pitchers in it. And we really want Abner Uribe to have a big year. We want to be able to flip him to a contender at the trade deadline for a nice package of prospects. That's kind of what we're hoping for here. Um, we've got a decent amount of depth. Stephen Kwan. I don't like Jake Myers playing in left field. I don't think Jake Myers' bat is good enough to play in left field over Stephen Kwan, but I'm not that opposed to it. I think our outfield bench is quite strong. I'd like to have another center fielder potentially, but we can always have people move around like Jake Myers. Valenzuela should be a nice backup catcher to help take some of the pressure off of Bo Naylor. And then we're going to be adding one more player uh, to our franchise there. Pitching wise, yeah. This is not a playoff team. We still lack top end talent. I think Rue is as close as we've got to a top end talent, but we don't really have top end talent. Our rotation is not very good. We don't have any frontline starting pitching, and that is probably something we're going to want to correct in the near future. Because right now we've got a lot of money tied up in mediocre pitching, which is a little gross, but it's what we're looking at right now. If we somehow make the postseason, it's going to be so important for us to have a reliable rotation. But for right now, it's just not that big a deal because we're not anywhere near the postseason. Like, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I could just add Otto Lopez to the roster again, but I want to see if our waiver claim goes through. Because I really like the look of that kid. This is going to be a big year for Rowdy Tellez. I still think he's got enough potential to be a starting first baseman, but I need to see him break out this year. I need to see him hit 30 plus home runs. If he doesn't, we're going to replace him. We're going to replace him quite quickly. I think he's going to get 2 months to show that he's got the kind of power that I'm looking for from a first baseman. I've got him for 2 more years, but they're not very expensive years. But that is it for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed. Please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Um, Feel free to post your best guess. When are we going to make the playoffs as the Charlotte Silver Wolves? I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, but I'm prepared to be wrong. Um, yeah. Until next time, friends, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you